And that brings us to one of the most important parts of YallaGo, trip management. Trip management is by far the easiest way to capture and to organize all of the trip information that's booked in GDS or externally. Let's begin by clicking on trips. In the same way that it's so familiar, we can sort and view all the different trips that we have going. You could filter it by various statuses like open, exchanged, flown, etc. You could also past, current, and future. You could filter it by the ticket date or their travel dates. You could filter it by whether it's active or inactive. And all of these filters are dynamically changing. In addition, you can filter by only a certain booking agent that you may have or a sales agent. You can specify specific airlines that you may have booked, flying or booked, refund, if it's refundable or avoidable, etc. But let's start by adding a trip. We're going to go ahead and click on create trip using Sabre codes. Of course, if you wanted to do it manually, you could click on add trip. But if we're going to take it from Sabre, it's as simple as this. Click create trip. We're then going to go over to Sabre and we have a PF key. The PF key is a little toggle that we have over here that's set up to just open up the entire trip in one shot. You're able to then copy it from the bottom all the way to the top in one shot, copy, paste, and then click on convert. By default, it's opening up everything and parsing it. All we have to do is select which agency, which agent. Over here, we see that there's a commission of $190.45. If we were to click on commission split and the commission that the agent gets is, let's say 50%, then automatically he's going to get, the agent gets $95.22 and the agency gets $95.23. In addition, there are all sorts of commission structures that are set up that we can have split from vendor and split to sub-agent. That would basically mean, let's say our agency was getting 80%, and then the sub-agency or the sub-agent is going to split that profit. So 50% of the 80%, that's what it would come out to. Another way to do it would be a split of the savings. For example, if the published price was $1,000 and there was a private fare for $900, there's a savings of $100. If we were to set it up that it was a 50-50 split, I'll show you an example. Let's just say the private fare is, this fare is $39.17, but the published fare was $40.17.05, which would be a $100 difference. So in this example of a 25% of the difference, the sub-agent would have to pay, or we would withhold 25% of it. Another example of a commission structure is a self-ticketing fee. Let's say some PCCs will require that if you issue the ticket, we're going to charge you, I don't know, $5. So that would be an automatic. You can have it set up that you don't have to change anything. Let's say $5. An office ticketing fee, for example, if an agency will send us tickets to issue, we can actually go ahead and charge them a fee for us doing our, doing the service. There may be a vendor fee, for example, a net fare, or some sort of fee that the vendor is going to charge, for example, an exchange, or all sorts of different things. Straight split based on the profit it's an interesting model. We have since developed the process of calculating the profits per trip. Then the agent can get a split of that profit. But if you were doing it just based on this specific ticket, so let's say there was a 25% of the profit, let's say there was a ticketing fee of $50, a processing fee, a credit card processing fee at $50, and collected, I'm just making it up, $4,500. It'll automatically calculate the difference. The profit is $673, and therefore, based on the 25%, the agent would take home $168, leaving a $505. You can add as many payments, etc. A custom amount would be, let's say you negotiate for a specific deal, then I'm just going to give a $15 per trip that's booked, almost like a referral. That's how you would do it. So then you can press on submit. Let's just do a commission split for argument's sake. So we have a custom amount of $15 and we have, let's just call it an 80% of this commission amount is how much he's going to get. Press submit. Then it's done. You're done. All you basically have to do is copy and paste it. On the bottom, you chose what are the profits being shared with your different agencies or yourself. You want to be able to anticipate how much we're expecting as an agency, how much profit should there be. There are then 3 different templates that are automatically created. We have the ticket confirmation, we have the commission to agent, and we have trip confirmation. Looks a little rough, but it's very simple. Click on preview and you'll see this is almost like a notification that you would send to your host agency if you wanted to inform them of what's going on. Commission amount, which fare classes, they can review it. They can make sure that everything is good. If you wanted to inform how much he's supposed to be getting, very similar setup, $190. And then it has all the breakdown, right? The agent take home for the commission split was, I think it was 80% of the total of 190, 152. And there's a $15 commission, and therefore an additional $15 commission. Therefore, he's going to expect in his instance of Yaligo CRM, $167. Here's another thing that if you don't want him to see how much was claimed, then you can now click on preview, and now it's not going to show the $190 something that was there. This way, he's not going to ask why isn't so it's just takes that off. Furthermore, all the emails in the itinerary will come up in here, or it's an automatically created trip based on the information. So let's say the Sabre email services are down. You literally, as you saw before, copied, pasted, chose the commission structure, which you could skip, and then you come down to this page and press submit. If you're on the page, whether it's this page or when you get the confirmation, you also have the ability to kind of mass choose meals, seats, bags, etc. And then you can press update, and then it updates on the trip confirmation that now he gets a kosher meal. So there you have it. That is that. So this is as simple as pie. I mean, you can click on everything that we had in here, the kosher meal and all. In addition, you can click on view trip details, or you can do add trip. For example, if you're going quickly and you're doing a lot in one shot, you can just click on add trip. Brings right back to that original stop. If you want to go in here and click on view trip details, you then have all the information that you had before. If you enter a payment, then you'd be able to see the profit. Now we see that the ticket cost is $39.17. Let me go in here and click on the seats, meals, and baggage. So we saw before, here's the ticket number. Again, everything was automated. There's really nothing to do. We can make any adjustment in here that we want. Same about the seating. If you wanted to add a new ticket number, like let's say it was manually done or something like that, you do have access to do that from here. And you can add as many as you like. Let's go back to the trip. So now if I wanted to enter a payment, let's say it's $39.17, I'm going to go in here and click add payment, booking, or if they paid with Stripe, then it would automatically come up in here that you could apply it to this. Associated with payment in. Now there are all sorts of different, you have commissions, you have credits, payment in, payment amount to agency, commission paid to agent, discount, fee, and each one of these means something else. So you're not going to, if it's a payment, don't give it a discount because that wouldn't make sense. But a discount would be, no, let's say they do a lot of business and they ask for a discount of $10 or $100, whatever it is, you can add that in there. But for this example, we're going to click on payment in. Now the question is, how was it paid? Check or cash? In the settings, which is in the next module, we'll talk about how to add additional payment types. Let's do cash. We're going to do $4,000 payment. That's really just for us to see in cash delivered to office. Total amount is $4,000. Processing fee, if there is one, since there isn't, so now you can press submit payment. Give it a moment, and now we see the total revenue is $41.67. Total cost was this, therefore a profit of $250. Very nice. We also see that since it was issued today, when it's voidable until, we have a few more options that I want to show you. Over here, you see copy short link, email, download PDF, or copy invoice link. We're going to talk about the invoicing in a little bit later on in this module, but copy is like this, add it to the left, put it in. And this is basically a specific link. They won't see this or this. This is meant to send off to the customer and say, hey, it's booked. Here's your confirmation. Only they would have access to it. You could download it, you could email it, etc. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is long sell. Let's say you have a trip and you want to now replicate all the details in it to put it back into Sabre. Like we explained before about long selling, you can now generate a long sell code for the exact flights, the names, dates of birth, etc. That is long sell. Now, just to show you around a little bit, you can go back in and edit the seat, meals, baggage, ticket, accounting information. You can also edit the commission structure. We had before that it was 80% commission split and a $15 thing. You could make it $50 addition, submit, and now the profit and loss adjusts based on that information. You'd be able to go in, like we discussed before, and add a task. You could add all sorts of different bookings. So that is how to go ahead and use a trip module. Now, of course, you could experiment with adjusting everyone's deals. Like if everybody was going to have kosher meal, you can kind of like mass up. If you wanted to add all of these passengers who are in here to a specific tag, you can go ahead and do that. Or you can take a tag and say, okay, this is Tom. Now this customer is added to the Tom tag. So a couple of cute little things in there. Great. So let's discuss adding a manual trip. This use case would be mostly for mileage bookings and bookings that are not through GDS, where it requires a little bit more manual work, but we got you covered. Let's go with ABC. It automatically creates a booking code for you, although you can make that adjustment if you'd like to make it something specific. Submit. Now you have a blank trip. First and foremost, let's go ahead and do unified manual entry. Unified manual entry is basically like a one-stop shop for creating a trip that's manually done. So like we did before, we'll do LY1, load, puts in all the details. You have to select the cabin. Fare class is in O. And now you can add another one. Coming back on the 31st, LY8. This way is in business class. Let's see, Z class. Now you start putting in the clients. So again, if the client is already in the system, then you could just start typing and select him, and all of his information flows in nicely. But if he's not, then you can start doing it from scratch. Sarah Sklar, put in a date of birth. Again, you could do it however you like. Fine. Then we go ahead and do submit. So the trip is created. The question is, do you want to start adding information about the meals? For example, kosher meal is on for Yonatan is on that one, and Sarah gets no fish meal. And on the way back, same thing, kosher, no fish. Same thing with seating. Again, this is all manual because by definition, the trip was created manual. You would also, by the way, be able to add in the ticket information, commission. Let's see, we got $50. Total cost was $1,000. The base fare, the taxes, let's say it was $250. So now it says good. Additional amount would be on the invoice. How much more do you want to add? Let's say $100 you want to charge on top. Cost to customer becomes $1,350. And which vendor did you book it in? Let's say it was NU3C. Then you could add more. You could add, save and duplicate. Let's go ahead and just press save. When was it issued? It wants to know so that you can figure out the void period. Save, edit trip. We don't have a payment yet, and therefore it shows a loss of $1,250. You can add as many bookings as you'd like. You can add payments into here just like we did before. That's how to do it manually. It's very, very simple. If you'll notice, at each stage that we're talking about accounting data, we also have something called vendors and commission structures. A vendor is a way for us to be able to record who exactly are we doing the booking by. Over here, all we have to do is click on settings, vendor, add vendor. So now we want to know which agency. If you only have one agency, then it's not relevant. It'll only pull up your agency, or it won't even show. GDS booking would be, if it's a GDS booking, then it's going to ask questions like what's the PCC and what's the void period, things like that. But if you toggle it off, it doesn't ask for the PCC because it's not relevant anywhere. Now, clone from would be, let's say you already have a commission structure that it's all the same information. You click it and it just pops in all the information just like it was before. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Time zone, NYC, next the void. Submit. Okay, so now you have a vendor called ABCD. To make a commission structure, basically a commission structure is a way to make it that you don't even have to specify what the amounts, the calculations of, let's say 80% or 60%, or if there are ticketing fees, all that kind of stuff you do one time and you set it and forget it. Set up a commission structure. Now, all you have to do is find, each agent may have their own structure. So we're going to click on Jacob Guy. These are all the ones that kind of require us to do something. Let's look for the vendor of Kimberly Washington. That's the name. And this would be if I wanted to copy it from a different one. So let's go through it one by one. Commission split is simple. Of the amount that's claimed, the full amount of, let's say $100, how much is the agent getting? 70%. If it's not useful for this particular vendor, then all you have to do is click on inactive. For example, if it's not relevant for you to split the commission that you're getting, click on inactive. Split of savings, it could be that this vendor doesn't have any special pricing and therefore there is no split of savings. An example of a split savings would be, let's say the ticket drops in price from $1,000 to $500. And you make a deal with the agent that if you are the one who recovers the savings, then you split it. So it would be 250. So what percentage of that would it be? You could put that in there, 50%. Self-issuing fee would be a fee that you put in when the person is going to make their own booking, let's say $5 or $1 or something like that. You can put it in. If it's not relevant, click it inactive. Most PCCs don't have such a thing. Office ticketing fee would be if we do the work. In our agency, we charge $15 to do ticketing or to set it up for them or things like that. So we would add on a $15 fee. Vendor fee, again, if there's some sort of special type of ticket that they have to charge, let's say it's a $50 fee, or you can make it inactive. Straight split based on profit, the profit of the ticket. If it costs $1,000 and you're charging $2,000 and it's a 50% of the thing, so you would be able to tack on a fee of you basically charging the $500 difference. Custom amount, again, you could do 0 or you could do inactive if it's never relevant for that. Submit. It's as simple as that. You create it once, then you hopefully won't have to make any major adjustments. Let's talk about invoicing. In this strip that we created earlier for Sklar, we see that there's a revenue of 0, that the total cost was $1,250, and therefore there's a profit loss of $1,250, negative $1,250. Let's create an invoice. Over here we see that the flight booking was $1,350, right? Remember there was an extra amount. Now, obviously you can go in here and make adjustments. $1,350, let's say you wanted to charge $1,500, press submit, edit, invoice. Now it says $1,500. What does this mean? If you copy this and we now have an invoice that they can review. This is the ticket information. This is the flight information. The customers is $1,500. Now, if they have this themselves, it's an invoice. They can confirm and pay just like we had by the proposal. Once they pay, they get a confirmation, we get a confirmation, etc. You could also click on generate invoice. Generating an invoice creates a PDF copy of the invoice itself. This is how it looks like. This is very relevant if you want to send somebody a PDF copy of what they're expecting. Let's say you want to group together 10 different invoices. We can do that with a master invoice. To make a master invoice, you're going to click on invoices, create master invoice. Now, you just have to select who is the agency, which trips are relevant. Let's say this one and this one and this one. Let's just call it Sklar Family Trips. Let's say the grandparents are going to pay. What type of payment option? Submit. Let's go in here and now it created all 3 of these together. These are the names, etc. You'd be able to pay for all of them or partially pay. That is a master invoice. Okay, the next step I'd like to show you are the financials. Financials are a great way to understand your profit margin for every single customer. So in this example, we had the total cost was $39.17, and if we wanted to see the profit, so we saw that there was a $4,000 transaction that came in, and there was a $50 commission that we were awarded, and after the split, the total was $152.36 plus the 50 comes out to $202. So the profit that the commission, the net commission amount is $202. But a better way to visualize this would be over here in the reports. The reports is here. Let me pull up that exact trip. So now we see over here, total amount, basically the cost was $39.17. Total paid was $4,000, and therefore the total revenue was $42.02, meaning you had the $4,000 plus the $202 comes out to $42.02, and therefore the total profit was $285.31. It's partially paid because it's not fully paid. Now, what's great is that you actually have the ability to sort by specific clients. So in this example, if we have this person, so we see all the revenue that came in from this person, all the costs that were involved, and therefore, in this example, we didn't add a payment, so it shows a loss of $2,500, but technically it should be a profit if it was entered. So you'd be able to sort in that way. You could filter it by dates, You can filter agents. You could filter by the status of the ticket. That's the best way to visualize it. You could, of course, click in and view the trip in this way. And that is the financial module with YellowGo. Next, I'd like to discuss all the settings.